Hello everyone, welcome back to Believer Says Academy. This is sixth video or sixth topic in the prelims hack series of topic of the day, and the sixth topic is a very significant and UPSC's favorite topic about First Asian Buddhist Summit. Anything related to Buddhism and Jainism is very significant from your UPSC prelims. UPSC can skip asking questions about economy, polity, etc., but they will never skip a question on either Buddhism or Jainism. That is why this topic becomes very important for you. So, it was hosted by India's Ministry of Culture in collaboration with the International Buddhist Confederation. Theme is Role of Buddha Dhamma in Strengthening Asia, exploring Buddhism's impact across the Asian continent. Okay, so the first Buddhist Council, summit, not the council. Councils were way back during the ancient period. Now this is about summit, was organized by the Indian Ministry of Culture. Then, summit focus areas were mainly on Buddhist art, architecture, and heritage. Focus was on spiritual and cultural ties with Buddhism. Indian landmarks like Sanchi Stupas and Ajanta caves, which represent Buddha's teachings and artistic heritage. Buddha's karika, or wanderings and dissemination of teachings. Buddha's travels in India to spread his teachings among the diverse people and communities were also given focus in the summit. Then, about role of Buddhist relics in society. The relics serve as symbols of Buddha's teachings, promote community gatherings, support local economies, and inspire peace and compassion. Peace, compassion, and non-violence were one of the three major teachings of Gautama Buddha. Okay, these were found in or being found in the relics of Buddhism. Buddha Dhamma in scientific research and well-being. Okay, how Buddha Dhamma is going to be significant in scientific research and well-being. This emphasizing practices like mindfulness and compassion that offer holistic approaches to health and wellness. Buddhist literature and philosophy in the 21st century. Ancient Buddhist texts and philosophies continue to offer wisdom on human nature, reality, and enlightenment in contemporary times. Okay, so the teachings of Buddha and Buddha Dhamma are relevant in the present time as well. So that is why they are often called as non-sectarian and non-time bound. Okay, then about India's initiatives in preserving Buddhist heritage. Buddhist tourism circuit, one of the major initiatives of the government. It is an initiative to develop a tourism circuit encompassing key Buddhist sites in India, including Kapilavastu, ancient city of Kapilavastu, where Buddhist Council was held. Then Global Buddhist Summit of 2023. It is focused on values of peace, emphasizing Buddha Dhamma's role in addressing global challenges. Okay. Then SEO conference on shared Buddhist heritage 2022-2023. The discussions on Buddhist art and archaeological connections among the SEO member states were discussed in SEO conference. Okay, what is SEO? Shanghai Cooperation Organization. The countries in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, such as Central Asian countries, China, Russia, India, Afghanistan, Pakistan, all share a common history related to Buddhism, and all the teachings of Buddhism and the common history of Buddhism were discussed in this conference. Then, Symposium on Vipassana Meditation. It was an event held in Bangkok discussing the role of meditation in promoting well-being and peace. Fifth one is about recognition of Pali as a classical language. Okay, initially there were 6 classical languages, 5 were added recently. One among the 5 was Pali, others were Prakrit, Marathi, Bengali, and Assamese. Pali and Prakrit, you can say, are extinct languages because there are very less native speakers of Pali and Prakrit. But this Pali and Prakrit are historically very significant, similar to Sanskrit. Pali, the language used in Buddha's sermons achieved classical status in October 2024, affirming its cultural importance. Then, International Abhidhamma Divas after in 2022. Held on October 17, 2024 in New Delhi, celebrating Abhidhamma's teachings and Pali's role in preserving Buddha Dhamma. Okay, Abhidhamma Pitaka is one of the three major Sutta Pitaka. There are three Sutta Pitakas, three Pitakas of Buddhism. One is Vinaya Pitaka, another one is Sutta Pitaka, and the third one is Abhidhamma Pitaka, which is often considered as summary of these Vinaya and Sutta Pitakas. Okay, so Abhidhamma Pitaka, it is considered to be written by Moggalliputta Tissa or Moggaliputra Tissa, but not sure whether he is the one who wrote this one. But he was considered the head of that particular council and he was considered the writer of this Abhidhamma Pitaka. Then, about core teachings of Buddhism, it talks about four noble truths. Okay, about communication, the four noble truths are dukkha or suffering, life involves suffering and dissatisfaction. Second one is samudaya, that is origin of suffering. What is samudaya? That suffering is caused by attachment, desire, and ignorance. The famous quote of Buddha is that ase dukkha ke moola in Kannada. That means the desire is the root cause of sufferings. Then nirodha is the cessation of sufferings. It says that suffering can be overcome by eliminating its causes. And how you can overcome by eliminating is there is a marga or the path to cessation. That path to cessation of suffering is the eightfold path is the way to end suffering. These are the four noble truths of Buddhism. One is there is suffering and suffering is non-escapable. Desire is the root cause of suffering. And the third one is suffering can be stopped. There can be suffering can be cessation. And the fourth one is about eightfold path. Okay, there is a marga or there is a way, and that way is eightfold path. Okay, so now the eightfold path are right view of your surroundings and philosophies around you, right intention of your actions, of your anything, right speech, you should be using a speech which is right in nature, and right action, all your actions should be right. The right livelihood, whatever you earn for your livelihood should be in the right way. Then right effort, your effort should also be right. Here you can connect with this deontology or teleology. Okay, what is deontology? Deontology is means are as equal as ends. Okay, so in ethics there is deontology and teleology. What is teleology? Ends are important than means. Okay, for example, if you want to achieve any success, if you want to achieve any task or complete a task, it doesn't matter what the means you are like applying. It doesn't matter the means. If the end is good, then your action or the means are good. But whereas the deontology says that the end as well as means should be equally good. Okay, that is what it is saying here. Right effort as well as right action. Okay, then right mindfulness, and finally right concentration. By following this eightfold path, you can escape from the circle of sufferings. Okay, circle of sufferings. These principles guide individuals towards a life of moral integrity, mental discipline, and wisdom. Okay, then key Buddhist texts are three Pitaka. I already told you. most authoritative scriptures in Theravada Buddhism, divided into three sections. One is Vinaya Pitaka, rule for the monastic life. Vinaya is the rules, how you should behave as a monastic monk in Buddhism. Then Sutra or Sutta Pitaka, that is discourses of Buddha, meaning these are the teachings of Buddha. Okay, Sutra to be followed as a Buddhist, okay, given by Buddha's teachings. Then it is Abhidhamma Pitaka. What is Abhidhamma Pitaka? It talks about philosophical and doctrinal analysis. Okay, then Mahayana Sutras. These are the key scriptures of Mahayana Buddhists, including Lotus Sutra, Kamala Sutra, Heart Sutra, Hridaya Sutra, Diamond Sutra, Vajra Sutra. Okay, these are some sub sutras belonging to different schools. And there is Buddhist, Tibetan Buddhist texts as well, which includes Kangyur and Tengyur, which are highly revered in the Vajrayana Buddhism. Okay, Vajrayana Buddhism. So these are the some important texts of Buddhism. Then major Buddhist councils. First Buddhist council was held in 400 BCE. As soon as the death of Buddha was announced, this was held by the king Ajatashatru after the Buddha's death. The aim was to preserve and organize his teachings. And the second one is Second Buddhist Council. It focused on discipline and the purity of monks. In this Second Buddhist Council, the major outcome was the split of Buddhism or schism in Buddhism, mainly between Theravada and Mahasangika. Okay, and in Third Buddhist Council, it was convened by Emperor Asoka. It was aimed to consolidate and propagate Buddhism across the India and abroad. As a result, Ashoka sent his son and daughter Sangamitra and I forgot another name. So he sent them to Sri Lanka and other areas to propagate Buddhism. And also in the Third Buddhist Council, Abhidhamma Pitaka was written. Okay, and the Fourth Buddhist Council, it is not given here. Fourth Buddhist Council was convened by the Kanishka. Fourth Buddhist Council was called by Kanishka during the 1st century AD. In that Fourth Buddhist Council, the major outcome was there were 16 sects in Buddhism during that time. Many sects, around 16, all were included into two major subsects. One is Hinayana, another one is Mahayana. Okay, old sects like Theravada, Staviravada, etc. were added into Hinayana, Mahasangika, etc. were added to Mahayana. Then there are mainly two schools of Buddhism. One is Theravada Buddhism or Hinayana, another one is Mahayana Buddhism. The teachings of the elders are Theravada. Thera is the elders. It is considered the closest to the original teachings of Buddha, practiced mainly in Sri Lanka, Thailand, Cambodia and Myanmar. Here the main point of difference is they reject worshipping of idols. Instead, they worship 5 symbols associated with life of Buddha. Okay, then whereas Mahayana Buddhism, Mahayana, Maha means the great vehicle, is a broad tradition practiced mainly in China, Japan, Korea, Vietnam. It emphasizes compassion or karuna and the bodhisattva ideal, becoming a Buddha for benefit of all the sentient beings. Okay, here they worship Buddha in the idol form. Not only Buddha but bodhisattvas as well. What are bodhisattvas? Bodhisattva, sattva in the sense incarnations of Buddha. There are mythologies in Mahayana Buddhism. According to this Mahayana Buddhism, Buddha was incarnated many times, similar to Vishnu in Hinduism. So he was incarnated many times, and the present Buddha was the Sakyamuni Buddha. Okay, there is Vajrayana Buddhism, form of Mahayana Buddhism that includes esoteric teachings, practices, and rituals primarily practiced in Bhutan and other parts of Nepal. Okay, and finally Zen Buddhism, which is again a school of Mahayana Buddhism, focusing on meditation or zazen and direct experience. It is popular in Japan. Okay, so this is how the Buddhism traveled from India to our rest of the countries. So around Nepal and India, majorly it was Theravada. From there, it transferred as Mahayana into these areas. Theravada was found in southern areas, southern India and Southeast Asia, and this Vajrayana is followed in Tibet and other areas, whereas this Mahayana is in East Eastern Asia. Okay, so this ends our discussion about Buddhism. So read thoroughly about Buddhism. There can be a question about Buddhist Summit as well. So watch the video one more time if you want. Do make the notes of the video. If you like the short topic, then please hit the like button, comment on it, and also share with your friends. With this, I will end the video. Jai Hind.